Alright, this is a slightly unusual setup, but circumstances are what they are. And I apologize if this video is out a little bit later than usual, but I'm just going to do kind of a quick one. These NECA Godzillas are fairly simple, there's not much really to say about them. I just wanted to show this off because it is the final movie NECA Godzilla that I need to complete my collection, and that is the film Godzilla vs. Destroyah. This is one of my favorites. You can already see just right there. He looks great, so I've been waiting a long time for this. I got this actually on Christmas. One of my good friends got him for me, so I actually already opened the box a little bit before, because I am just so excited to look at this figure. This has been one of the ones I've been looking for the most, and now I actually have him in my hands. Alright. You can already just see looks pretty clean. Okay. Now for the annoying part of the NECA Godzillas, actually getting them out of their damn little plastic prisons. So, we'll be right back. Alright, and now he is out. So let's just pop him down. We got the tail. Classic NECA trick. They even tell you in the instructions. You leave the tail in water, hot water for a bit like that, and then you will be able to pop them on easy. Okay. And these guys can retain water, so you need to be careful too. Make sure you just do that a little bit. And you just pop them on. Like so. Alright, and the tail is on. You just pop it on once it gets a little hot, and then you're good. So, finally have in my hands the Godzilla vs. Destroyah Godzilla, also known as Burning Godzilla. And before you say anything, I know this looks jarring, it looks like they might have skipped out on paint and this admittedly really cool translucent kind of feeling, but no. That is actually accurate to the suit. For some reason, only this top part's burning. I know it's a little jarring, but it is what it is. This is pretty much identical, I think, to the Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla that NECA released. It has the same articulation in the tail, meaning not much of it at all. And see, okay. This should be able to pop right back on. You gotta be careful with these guys sometimes. There we go. So, moves side to side, doesn't really move up, doesn't really move down, but you don't really need it to, honestly, because in a lot of these high-sci films, his tail is just kind of always on the ground. So that's accurate. It's not too big of a problem. And this is something that NECA would perfect later on with the Biolante and especially the Tokyo SOS Godzillas. Those tails have incredible articulation. But, anyways, let's move his arms a bit. You gotta be careful with NECAs because they can be really stiff at first. I would do the trick of soaking him in hot water, like I did for Ghostface, but he's a little clunkier and he retains a lot more water than Ghostface. That's just kind of going to take time that I don't really need because I'm already behind schedule. But let's get him in a... This arm joint is a little weird looking. It came like this. It came straight out of the bag like this. So I need to figure out... Okay. Well, pretty good swivel there. Same here. Arms, of course. Or hands, I mean, swivel. The claw goes back and forth like that. This one, okay, yeah, it does. I just need to push it a little bit more. Got a little bit of torso swivel, but you're not really going to need that much of it, honestly. You could probably go full 360, but I don't really want to do that. There's a really satisfying click when you bring him back to center. Like that. Let's see. He's leaning a bit. So let's try to fix that. Let's see, legs, pretty standard swivel there. Can't really ask for much else. Oh, he's got knees. Pretty cool. Gotta be careful with that though when you're moving him. He's still leaning though. That's the... I don't know if that's something I can... Okay. Anyways. I want to talk more about this paint job because I do have things to say about it. This is a NECA, so that means that there are going to be inconsistencies in paint. And boy, I can already see there is plenty here, unfortunately. So, let's see, right here, always start with the head. I feel like this eye is a lot larger than the other eye. You can see, compare this eye. That is normal Heisei era Godzilla eyes to me. And then there's this one. This one just has a lot more red in it, I think, than this one. Oops. Come on. There we go. Yeah, and then again, same problem with nearly every single Godzilla NECA. The jaw is bent. I do not know why. Like, I almost want to say that this is intentional because it is in nearly, possibly even every Godzilla NECA that I own. Every single one practically has this twisted jaw. I don't know if it's like, so that it can have somewhat of a different expression. I don't know if it's something related to the suit design. I don't know. But we can also see here in the teeth, there is some really bad lack of paint towards the gums. There's a lot of bleeding from the gums to the tooth. That tooth in particular is very dirty, even towards the tip. That is very bad, quite frankly, even for Godzilla NECA standards. And we get a little bit of red chipping there and there, coming from the burning torso, I assume, or maybe even the eyes, because, yeah, looks a little more red than orange. It's super small. You probably can't notice it that much just in the video, but trust me, I can notice it. Now, let's take a look at the dorsal fins. So again, there's some paint chipping, though it's fairly minor, but you can see that little black spot there. There's one right there as well, and a little bit on the other side. It's not too noticeable right there. They're very small specks. From afar, you can't even tell. Now, one thing I want to say about the dorsal fins that I really like is these burning parts feel a little spongier compared to the rest. These feel like just normal dorsal fins on NECAs. These feel unique, and I think that's pretty cool. Obviously, it's because they're translucent, so they're a bit thinner. But I like it. It gives it a nice, interesting texture compared to any other NECA Godzilla that I have. And luckily, the same is not for the actual body. I would really not like it if that were the case, because that would just be really... It's a lot more of him, and I don't really want him to feel spongy. They did a good job here. It's nice and firm. Yeah. I think overall, in the torso and the legs, he looks great. Oh. Looks like we got some paint there. Maybe even there. But, I mean, the idea of Burning Godzilla is he is on fire. So, I can't really... That's not too bad. I mean, at least it's still within the kind of fire effect. So I can give it some leeway there. Now, on the back and on the arms, it's noticeably dimmer. Or maybe it's just because there's not a lot of it around, so the black kind of outshines it. But, I mean, it looks fine. It really is just a modified Space Godzilla, though, in the end. That's what it feels like to me. And, speaking of Space Godzilla, we have the blue feet again, which I swear it wasn't like that in the movie. I might be just going crazy. These are bright blue, and I really, really, really do not like that. It just clashes really hard with... Like, these are blue as well, which I don't really understand, but... I don't know if it's like they're actually brighter on the toes, or maybe it's just because they're larger and they stand out more, but... It just clashes too much. I really do not like that blue. I could be wrong. It could look like that in the movie. But I swear it doesn't. Or maybe it's just because the movie is very dark. A lot of it is at night. And that's why. We have, let's see. Yeah, we have pegs there for if you want to put the NECA stands, which I don't own any. I might need some, though, because I own the skeleton version of the T800, and man, he does not stand up well on his own at all. We got a really bad paint chip there. That is very, very bad. This one's a little bit lumpy. But depending on how you pose him, you probably won't even notice. All of my Godzillas are facing forward, though, so if you get up real close, you'll be able to see that. It's nothing that a custom paint job can't fix, though. which I haven't yet to actually do custom paint jobs for any of my NECAs, but that is something I'm interested in doing in the future. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Space Godzilla's arm articulation, and the same is said for the Burning Godzilla, because it just looks awkward. I don't know, like his... I mean, it's also part of the Heisei era suits. I'm actually not a huge fan of how Heisei Goji looks, just because, like, I don't know, his arms are really small compared to the rest of his body, especially his kind of thunder thighs, you know? Mouth doesn't really open that much. It has a click, you can hear. Click, 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 click. And that's the farthest you can open it. They nailed Shin Godzilla, because Shin Godzilla, you're able to open that mouth as wide as you want it to be, pretty much. And it's really impressive, especially considering Shin Godzilla has these kind of fleshy things on the side, and as you extend it, it stretches more and more, which is a really cool effect. This is just pops open, pops close. Yeah. And just these arms, like, they have a nice swivel and all, but they just look awkward. I don't really know many great poses I can put them in, like... See, it just looks goofy. I prefer my Godzilla to have his arms, like, kind of closer to his body. Almost like a T-Rex, you know? Which, I mean, I can do that really well here, but here, this one's giving me a little bit more trouble. Let's see. So I kind of got him in a unconventional, but kind of dynamic pose. Almost like a... like he's saying, come at me. So if you have the arm kind of extended like this, looks pretty good. I can't get it to really look the way I feel like it should normally. It only really looks okay if it's stretched out, because I'm telling you, that joint just looks a lot different than this one. Here, let's make this one all stretched out. See? It seems like there's just a lot more space here. So I'm able to bend this one pretty much exactly how I would like it to be. This one, though, if I fully bend it, it just does not look the same. It's still a little more outward. So you know what? If I just dedicate myself to the bit and just extend it, that could look pretty cool, actually. So it might be a good thing for me, actually. Experiment a little bit more with my Godzilla poses. Just something I really have not done. Godzilla feet on NECAs are always a bit weird because they're just so thin, really. And they don't have too much articulation. But, let's see. Okay, let's get a close-up look. And there he is. The NECA Burning Godzilla. The last of my collection. But I will say I am very disappointed in this figure. This, along with the Space Godzilla, are probably my least favorite of the line. Which makes sense because Space Godzilla was already my least favorite, and this pretty much is just a variant of that. Though I do appreciate the different texture on the dorsal fins. That makes it a bit more than just a repaint. If you want to complete the collection, I do still think this is worth getting, simply because while it is basically the same design as Space Godzilla, it still technically is another entity. The different dorsal fins do mean that, yes, this is technically a different figure, although everything else is the same, including the really terrible, just way too bright blue feet. But hey, my collection's complete, that's all I can really ask for. And I am sad that NECA no longer has the license for Godzilla. I thought that they're... And by the way, this is something I need to stress, because it sounds like I'm kind of trashing this figure, you know, oh, the paint job and the quality control. No, you gotta keep in mind, I mean, you get what you pay for with these. These are about $30 retail. That's a really good price, honestly, for a figure that looks like this. Compare that to SH Monster Arts, which are smaller, and honestly, a lot of them have way worse quality control than NECA. And if you just keep them, you know, on display like that, they look good. They look like Godzilla, and that's all that really matters to me. So, I still am glad that I got this. I wish the paint was better, but again, that's a quality control thing. If you buy your own NECA Burning Godzilla, it will probably look better than mine. But I just got dealt a bad hand. And since these guys are discontinued, it's going to be very hard for me to try to get a new one. But you know what? That might be the calling for me to actually try doing custom See, I swear that eye's larger. This one's smaller. This one's larger. I'm not going crazy, am I, bros? Ooh, how did I miss that? Wow. Yeah, that's a very, very bad paint chip right there, right above his tooth near his snout. That is bad. Oh, man. Right there. Damn. It is what it is, though. That's quality control for you. If you find one of these in the wild, just be sure. So, the biggest places to look, apparently, when you find him, he'll probably be like this. Look for the face, look for the teeth, look for that eye, and make sure you don't get one of the large eyes. And just keep an eye, if you can even see them, keep an eye on his feet. Make sure that you don't get chippage like that one, if possible, from the box. But, yeah, that's it. That is, completes my whole collection. I might try to squeeze room in my case. I need to get another case. I'm just waiting for the seasonal stuff to die down so that I can go to stores and not be swarmed. But I'll have to find room for him. But again, whole Godzilla series, at least the movie's completed. I might, if I find one, get the video game variant. Because it's basically just 1984 Godzilla, but with different dorsal fins. So kind of the same with this and Space Godzilla. Might be worth having, I don't know. But we'll see there. Stay tuned to the next video next week.